Tonight we're taking apart the steering linkage, and then once we get that off, we're going to go ahead and get the knuckle seals out of the way. So there's a cotter pin in there, and you're dealing with a 3/4 inch castle nut on this tie rod end. The kit comes with replacement parts here. Okay, some guys beat on the top of this. I like to use a pickle fork. If I can find my freaking pickle fork. Where the hell is my pickle fork? Here it is. Ugh. One each pickle fork. There you go. One tie rod end loose. With all kinds of funkiness. All right. Let's go do the rest of them. And there's always one in every crowd. The cotter pin on this little guy did not want to come out. So we had to encourage it and convince it that it needed to. This thing's got so many layers of paint on it, it's ridiculous. Like someone took a paintbrush to it and just slapped it on. Crazy, man. Voila. All right. So what we're trying to do now is disconnect the belt crank from the drag link. Okay, we pulled the little shield out of the way, and you'll notice that I pushed this thing all the way to the left, like it's turning left, okay, until it stops, because that nut, that screw right there, is in there very tightly, and it's probably rusted in place. So I need it to be up against as far as it'll go, so I can put some pressure on it and try to break it loose. Now what I have is, I have a drag link, I guess that's what you want to call it, socket here that I've modified. You can see where I've cut the tips off the corners there, so the tool will fit, you know, in the slot without a problem, just like that. All right, and then we're just going to use a breaker bar extension to try to get this thing to break loose. We may or may not be successful. There we go. All right, where's my ratchet? Where's my ratchet? About that. Messing up everybody's camera movement. we go. Actually, it's pretty good. Next, we're going to take off this cotter pin and castle nut, and we're going to pull the bell crank off. It's very sloppy. Oh, did you see that? That pin lifted. That's not good. The pin shouldn't have done that. So what we have in there is a wedge pin in there. Let's see if that'll knock out. If it does, we're going to be crapping in some tall cotton. Never in a million years will you have that experience. I've never had them come out that easy. That's just the other washer. Wow. I've never had a pin come out that easy. I'm telling you, a lot of times you gotta apply heat to that thing. You gotta beat the living dog snot out of it to get that wedge to come out. And then you got the other pin that's typically frozen in place. So we got lucky on the disassembly piece. All right, let me show you what we're dealing with here. Coming at you from my newly moved workbench. So I'm pretty happy about this, right? I've got a place that I can actually do things and demonstrate stuff and work on stuff. So here's the bell crank. It's actually in pretty good shape, all right? When I washed this in the parts washer, all the bearings fell out, kind of like the wheel bearings did on one of the older videos I did. The ball location on the end here, right? Pretty good shape. It's not wore out or oblonged. You do see that over time where these things get pretty mangled, and then you're going to need to replace them. This is where the drag link hooks up. The shield that's on here, it's not super pliable. I did clean it. I don't want to risk tearing it and trashing it by taking it off, so I cleaned all in and around it. And then we'll go ahead and put this little shield back over this when everything's assembled and recrimp it down. And that's just there to help keep dirt and stuff out of the springs and the cups and all that and the drag link. Okay, got a grease fitting on here. These don't take much to press in and out, but I just thought it was funny that these bearings just fell out the way that they did. So we'll get this dude cleaned up and reassembled. Here's the old wedge pin. Now this thing is obviously seen better days, okay? And, you know, what are you gonna do? That's what it is. The pin's in rough shape. If you look at it, you can see the markings on the surface where the bearings ride. Now, you have to remember, right? I mean, it's only turning to a certain point and turning to a certain point. Those bearings never really get to work all the way around the shaft. So, kind of like the kingpins on your steering knuckles on the front end, those kingpins will do the same thing, and it'll trash the races and everything, and you'll get these wear patterns in there, and then you'll get this real choppy kind of a feel. So, yeah, the pin's pretty much shot. It was loose in there. We're not going to put this back in. Here's the castle nut that came off of it. The washer, and the washer's missing a part, and I'll show you that in a minute. And here's the other washer that came off. Aside from the cotter pin, this is it. This is the only thing that was holding this together, all right? Now, these parts are called seal tested. Never messed with them before, but they came from Army Jeep Parts, George Baxter, out of Levittown. If you haven't met the guy, meet him at one of the shows. He seems like a pretty decent dude. And that's what we have for parts here. So he had that stuff, you know, decalled him, and he sent it in. And you'll notice there's a lot more parts here, okay? To get this thing reassembled. Castle nut, the washer has a tab in it, okay? That tab is designed to go down this channel right here, so it sort of locks in place. The old one did not have that. So 2 washers, new grease fitting. There's a little kind of a dust cup or whatever, rubber seal, new wedge pin. Okay, very clean, very nice. And then a set of replacement bearings. And we'll demonstrate pressing those in when we get to it. Tonight we're not doing any assembly work, we're just taking things apart. Now we've also taken apart the tie rod ends. Let me go grab those. Passenger side, driver side.
So nothing more madness. Love me some knuckle busters.
There we go, breaking that clamp loose. All right, we got that loose. Now let's clean out this little passageway here. Find a transmission pick. Pretty gooey in there. Clean that goo out. And expose the threads. We're not chopping into the threads. We're using this cold chisel's got a fat end on it. Okay, so we're not cutting into the threads. What we're trying to do is spread this out just a hair to facilitate. To facilitate the flow of penetrating oil. Little fancy can here. I don't even know if this thing works. Yep. All right, so you clean that out. Work to spread it out. Put some penetrating oil in there and let it sit. Because these things will be a booger to get out. I guarantee. And you can see before I even start here how much crud and funk is in there. All right? Do yourself a favor. That's what my friend Jeff likes to say. Do yourself a favor. Take the extra minute and get this stuff out. Because the stuff that's in here right now is acting like freaking bubble gum, man. What it feels like. And if you do this and throw this on a vise and try to get that out, all you're doing is dragging all that material to the inside, and you're just gonna ask for problems. All right, that's it for tonight. We'll go ahead and just let these guys soak overnight, and we'll get after it tomorrow. We'll get these disassembled, get them cleaned, and then reinstall the new tie rod ends, okay? We'll also work on getting the bell crank rebuilt and get this stuff back on the vehicle. So, yeah, we'll get done with this. It'll be all stripped down and repainted and looking like new again. But let's let the oil do its thing, and just loosen up things for me. You know what I mean? What a crazy little deal here. It's got a light on the end of it. See that? Liquid wrench. See where you spray. Anyhow. All right, folks. That's it. Did a lot today, and most of it was cleaning the garage, throwing away stuff, getting reorganized, moving a bench over here where it needs to be. And now tomorrow I can 100% focus on the 42. So D, I'm sorry I didn't work on it until this evening, and hell, I don't even know what time it is. But so that's where we're at. Stay tuned. Love ya. Get out there and work on something. Yeah.